own domain, I run a company called Territorial Labs, and our area is to explore things, new business realities, new frontiers of society. We work with government, we work with organizations. Um, so as a part of this, we thought it'll be good to get people on a Saturday morning to discuss something beyond the work. And DIVE started as a part of this collaborative activity. Earlier, we used to hold at NCL campus, NCL Venture Center. Today, there's one person who's regular from, two people regular from, okay, from those days. Then it went online during COVID times, and then we discontinued a bit of, and now we restarted. We've done recently a lot of DIVE events, discussing astronomy, discussing how cancer is being treated nowadays, or research in the genetics area, from there to how consumers reacted over the COVID period. So we've been picking up topics which are very, very diverse, which have hidden layers behind them, and this is the, so each dive session we pick up one area to dive into, and today we are fortunate to have an experienced leader, Mr. Mohan Joshi, who is not just, who comes with a lot of manufacturing industry experience and senior leadership positions. Many of you know already, and he's just published 2 books, which you will be probably very soon come to know, and some essence will be there in the presentation. And pleasantly, the presentation is not too long. So everything is in the conversation, and he has promised that it will be interactive, so please enjoy the conversation. Some essentials, the toilet is right next door, and there is tea and snacks post the conversations. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And please keep the mobile on silent. To the other side, close to the.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Manoj, for the invitation and organizing today morning session. First of all, thanks to all of you for coming here on Saturday morning. And my objective, which I will try to do, is at the end of today's session, you have at least 1 or 2 takeaways. That is my objective. Now, I am going to keep this session interactive because people who work in corporates these days are bombarded with PowerPoint presentations and meetings. And just to give you a background why I went to this space, post my retirement, I have been coaching for 8-10 years. And I realized that in the space of business to business, there are not many books and there is no knowledge, and we learn by experience. So last year around this time I had my material ready, and I thought that I can share my knowledge with B2B professionals. But I underestimated challenges of putting things in writing, and whole of last year went in trying to get my thoughts together. But writing the book gives me one benefit, that I can wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I can go through my structure. I don't have to follow Marshall Goldsmith or other people, but I owe my gratitude to them because I have learned from them. And I also owe my gratitude to all of you because my life's principle is simple. Whenever I get opportunity to talk to someone, I pick up what I can learn from him. And every conversation gives opportunity to learn. And therefore, I have titled this as Conversation on Pressure. Now, how many of you feel pressure these days? Do you feel pressure?
At work, at home.
Work pressure? You feel work pressure at home. Work pressure? You see, I was just going through my journey, when I did my engineering from BITS Pilani, way back 50 years back, we had no Xerox. We had no calculator. We used to have some slide rule, and there was not even Xerox. So what we used to do, that some good students used to take proper notes, and then after he has finished his work at 11 o'clock in the night, he used to slip his notebook into others' room, and others used to study like that. There was no Xerox machine, but we lived in that era. And in that era, words like tension, busy, bore around, they were not in the dictionary. But today, they are part of the vocabulary, and therefore I focused onto this particular topic. When I go to corporates, I do a lot of F2F coaching sessions, and I find in corporates, if meeting is scheduled at 3 o'clock, people will assemble 10 to 15 minutes before the meeting, but they will be on their mobile, laptop, replying emails, etc. And the moment meeting gets over at 3:45, they will just walk away that I have next meeting or I have important call to make, and they will just vanish. And I always tell these people that you are missing opportunity of resolving lot of small issues by personal conversation. And therefore, in today's world, conversation is very important if you want to step up. Now, why I call dual mandate? I don't know, somewhere I got this terminology, and then before I was publishing book, I did Google search whether this is used somewhere, but it was not. When I say the dual mandate, it is results and culture that you are monitoring all the time. Whatever is your business, whether it is B2B, whether it is FMCG, you are continuously responsible for results and culture. And therefore I say that I find companies having offsite. I tell people, yes, offsite is required, but don't put tick that you have done something on culture. Offsite is an event. And therefore, culture is a continuous process. Anyone wants to add something at this stage, what I have spoken?
So culture is a word we are hearing from last 20 years. I run a company, we are trying to build a culture. I'm not able to figure out how much time it will take when what we believe the culture is set, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years.
Good question. And I always relate culture to family situation. You know, family culture is built over generations. It is built over generation, and similarly, corporate culture is not something you can have in manual and it is done. It is something which has to be done continuously. And culture, I have one quote, you lose in bucket, but built in drops. In the sense, culture you can build drop by drop, drop by drop. So to answer your question, there is no bucket which will take another, this is bucket, that's it, culture you are making. Culture is step-by-step process, I call it drop by drop, and you build it, but it is watched at every stage, because one wrong impression, you will change opinion about the company. And today when you have options, take for example, you are buying things from Amazon. You are buying for years, everything is going well, you are happy, you don't even compare prices. But if you have one or two bad instances with Amazon, you will just shift to another vendor. Because today options are available. So not a good answer to your question, but culture is a long process and which you have to keep on building. Yes.
Who is responsible for the culture? Is it and who can question it?
Yeah. Again, good. You see, culture is something you can write in books, but it is more through observation. In companies, people look at their leadership team, how they are behaving. And that's how they build culture. So it is not a document that can be made, but lot of things, a document of course, in companies document will be there, do's and don'ts, they will be there. But culture is something which you see through people, through their behavior. And I always say, your competence will take you into the room. If I am going to meet Manoj Kothari, due to my age or background, Manoj Kothari will say, okay, you come to my cabin and we will meet. How long I will stay in his room depends on the culture. How I am talking to him, whether our culture is matching. So I always say, your competence will enter the door. Your culture will decide how long you stay in that room. Got it? Okay, but good start. So you have now some clarity on culture.
And is the meaning of culture? I cannot understand.
Okay. कल्चर बहुत सिंपल लैंग्वेज में हम एक दूसरे से किस तरीके से बर्ताव करते हैं,
Okay.
एक दूसरे से किस तरीके से समझने की कोशिश करते हैं, पार्टली हम एक दूसरे को बोलने का मौका देते हैं यानी.
Okay.
You see, thank you. I hope. Yeah. This is what defines culture. And आपको यदि कल्चर का और एक डेफिनेशन देना है, ड्यूरिंग हमारे our childhood, our all focus was on speaking skill, कैसे बोलना ये है. But in today's world, I think culture is defined more by how you listen than how you talk. आप दूसरे को बोलने का मौका देते हुए. और मैं तो कोचिंग आजकल फुल टाइम करता हूँ, वॉट एवर टाइम आई स्पेंड, एंड आई फाइंड माई रियल जॉब इज लिसनिंग टू पीपल. ऑल कम्युनिकेशन इज थ्रू लिसनिंग. सम आंसर?
Oh,
Sir,
correct.
Yes, sir.
What culture is different from culture you are talking about?
ये भी चीज ऐसी है, आई डोंट थिंक यू कैन स्विच ऑफ. कि एक कल्चर, कुछ लोग रहते हैं कंपनी में एक बिहेवियर रहता है, घर पे दूसरा बिहेवियर रहता है. आई हैव गॉट अ फ्रेंड हु इज कोच इन आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग. हिज वर्क इज आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग. साइमल्टेनियसली एट होम ही इज फाइलिंग केस अगेंस्ट हिज वाइफ. तो देखो, एक ही आदमी दिन में आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग सिखाता है, रात को डिवोर्स के प्रोसीडिंग्स की बात करता है. तो ये बहुत नॉर्मली, ये एक्सट्रीम हो गया. नॉर्मली जो आपका कल्चर है वो दिखता है और आप उसको ज्यादा चेंज नहीं कर सकते हो. बॉस के सामने थोड़ा बहुत चेंज कर सकते हो, बट ज्यादा देर नहीं. सो आपका क्वेश्चन का आंसर, एक ही कल्चर रहना चाहिए घर में और ऑफिस में. या ओके, नाउ वी टॉक्ड अबाउट प्रेशर. आजकल कंपनी में प्रेशर रहता है लोगों पे.
Teacher.
ये प्रेशर किस टाइप का रहता है? प्रेशर किस टाइप का रहता है? पर्सनल.
Targets.
Target achievement, target during a specific time period.
या
Quarter wise.
यू सी, कंपनीज में क्वार्टरली टारगेट्स रहते हैं, उसका प्रेशर रहता है. कंपनी में रिलेशनशिप का प्रेशर रहता है. कंपनी में साइलोज रहते हैं. पीपल थिंक ऑफ देयर जॉब्स ओनली. So when I am in a company environment, like yesterday I was in a session where 35 people were in a conference room and I was on Zoom. All 35 were from the same company. Now basically I tried to give them exercise कि आपका प्रेशर कहाँ पे है. आपका प्रेशर रिलेशनशिप में है, आपका प्रेशर रिजल्ट्स में है. और ये जो फर्स्ट टर्मिनोलॉजी है, इसका कोई लॉजिक नहीं है. It is meant for my remembrance, that I remember, and therefore I created this abbreviation that first में financial, implementation, relations, strategic and territorial. Normally pressure इस कैटेगरी में रहते हैं. तो जब भी मैं किसी कंपनी में बात करता हूँ या किसी इंडिविजुअल से बात करता हूँ, तो ये बोलता हूँ सारे प्रेशर तो आप इकट्ठा नहीं सॉल्व कर सकते. आपको एक 1 by 1 ही करना पड़ेगा. 1 by 1 करना पड़ेगा. So I try to help them कि आप किस पे फोकस करो. So the starting was प्रेशर बहुत है आप लोगों पे, तो उसको एनालाइज करो कि किधर है आपका प्रेशर, और 1 by 1 you try to solve that pressure. Okay? Yeah. Yeah. This is my very, on each slide, I can go for 2 hours workshop, which I do in company. Each slide has that potential. But my prime goal is capability is common and judgment is the differentiator. ये मैं कॉर्पोरेट्स में लोगों को बार बार बोलता हूँ, जैसे आपका बिजनेस है, आप बहुत सक्सेसफुल बिजनेसमैन हो. Last year he was at the toss at the IPL Mumbai match. So that shows how powerful he is as agent in that community. So congratulations, and I hope to see you again this year at IPL. Now you see, जो आदमी लाइफ में इंप्रूवमेंट करता है उसकी जजमेंट अच्छी रहती है. जजमेंट. And I will give you a classic example. I did similar type of workshop in Jupiter Hotel. Jupiter Hotel, where doctors were there, administrators were there. It was arranged by Dr. Rajendra Patankar, who is CEO, and similar size of people. Hospital, this Jupiter Hospital. And this was at the time when I was experimenting with my book and the concept. So this was last year in February, when my book was still in the writings area. I asked them, how do you differentiate between people? And I got very nice example in Jupiter Hospital. You see, immediately after COVID, this is actual incidents that happened in Jupiter Hospital. There were a lot of people in OPD. Lot of people, hospital was crowded. It was in the evening around 9 o'clock when people were leaving, changing shifts. So people were saying hi, bye, hugging each other. And one shift people were going and the next shift people were coming. And at that time, OPD was crowded and OPD patients have come for some reason. So there was a policeman. So they asked, why is this person there? So he says there is some case on the road and he's drunk. And he was assumed as a drunk person in OPD of Jupiter Hospital. So many doctors passed, so many nurses passed. But one nurse stepped back and she went back to that patient. सब लोग हैरान हो गए, ये वापस क्यों आ गई? ये तो जा रही थी, इसकी ड्यूटी खत्म हो गई, ये वापस क्यों आई? That nurse identified that this man is drunk. Your assumption is right, he is drunk. But his lip movement and hand movement is telling me that he is having other health complications. And that person at that time was going through seizures. And he was immediately taken into ICU. Now, what this example, we debated for 15 minutes in Jupiter Hospital, that all nurses are competent. All nurses are competent. But the differentiator is who can understand the problem in crisis. Business में भी यही होता है कि correct. I have one person who told me 2 years back, very senior person, vice president of company, salary of 1 crore plus. He was going through coaching session, and he says that उसको 360 degree वगैरह कंपनी का फीडबैक था. मैंने कहा यार, tell me 1 or 2 weaknesses जिस पे आपको काम करना है. I typically work on 2 strengths, 1 weaknesses. मैं ज़्यादा इस पे जाता नहीं हूँ. I identified 2 strengths and 1 weaknesses. So I said 1 weakness बताओ. So he told me I am impulsive in nature. मैंने कहा कैसे? बोले मैं react हो जाता हूँ. कोई भी कुछ बोलता है मैं मीटिंग. मैंने कहा यार तेरे और किसी भी एरिया में तो डेवलप मत हो. पर इसको इंप्रूव कर। इम्पल्सिव है तो तू कभी भी आगे नहीं बढ़ सकता है। And then we worked on his impulsive nature, and I got feedback from his colleagues. He's improving, but he's still too bad. But at least he recognized that he's impulsive, because impulsive nature आपको ज्यादा नहीं खींच सकता है। आपके पास कितना भी competence हो, impulsive nature नहीं खींच सकता है। And here I call judgment is the differentiator, कि आप under difficult situation कैसे judgment लेते हो। अब क्रिकेटर्स आप देखते हो, सारे क्रिकेटर्स का कॉम्पिटेंस एक ही है, कोई ज्यादा फर्क नहीं होगा, रणजी ट्रॉफी प्लेयर भी, बट जो ऊपर जाते हैं वो प्रेशर को डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं, प्रेशर को डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं। जैसे मैंने इंजीनियरिंग की, मेरे लोएस्ट सैलरी और हाईएस्ट सैलरी, तभी सैलरी स्टार्ट होती थी 600 रुपीज, 800 रुपीज, एंड आई स्टिल रिमेंबर इन माय बैच हाईएस्ट वाज 1600। That was Engineers India Limited. That was the benchmark salary. Otherwise, 600, 800, 1000 range. But the ratio was 1:2, not more. Today ratios are big.
कौन से साल में था ये सर?
50 years back.
600 रुपये।
हाँ, 600, 800, 1000, 1600 तो हाईएस्ट सैलरी चलती थी उस जमाने में। बट जो लोग ऊपर गए हैं, वो लोग टफनेस में जजमेंट लेते हैं। या हमेशा देखो, can you think of anybody who have come in contact with you and you have seen कि यार ये tough situation में अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं? कोई भी ध्यान में आता है?
मतलब धोनी याद आता है।
हाँ, आप अपने ऑफिस में देखो, सर्कल में देखो। Oh yes, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You know, these people can take. So your different competence is there everywhere. How you behave in terms when difficulty is there, that is the differentiator. Okay. Yeah. ये एक बार सवाल पूछ लो, देख लो। प्रेशर, मैंने पहले प्रेशर 5 कैटेगरीज में डिफाइन किया था। जब भी प्रेशर आता है, व्हाट डू यू ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड फर्स्ट? कॉन्टेक्स्ट चेंज होता है, पीपल अफेक्टेड। नीलेश, एनी आंसर?
I'll understand the context.
Understand the context. Very important that what has changed. What has changed? If you understand the context, you will understand why the pressure is coming. What we will do, can you take out your mobile phones? Mobile phones, Google Chrome.
Sir, how sure you are that there is nothing other than this food?
No, I have no answer. I have no correct or wrong or right answer. But I will see what this group tells me. I am guided by what is the opinion. So can you scan this on your Google Chrome? If not getting it, come closer. That gives you a chance to get up. And select one of the answers. You have mobile?
Data.
Okay. Just see.
May I ask what are the 5 categories of pressure?
Yeah, here. Changed context, people affected, missing data. It will come in your
What are the
question.
5 categories of pressure that you mentioned?
Acha, no, that is not here.
May I ask what they are?
Yeah, I will go back to that. Yeah. आगे आपका
Could you explain the missing data point?
हाँ.
Could you explain the missing data
Yeah,
point?
missing data, yeah. Okay, so
लिख दो।
I will try. I'm coming to your question. Huh? Nilesh, the audience is going your way. Changed context is very important. because things are changing so rapidly that what you assumed 6 months back is no more valid. What you assumed 6 months back is no more valid. And therefore, you have to analyze what is changing in the context. Your assumptions. Your question is missing data.
Would you just explain?
Yeah. You see, today in corporate or elsewhere, we have too much data. We have too much data coming, but sometimes critical data is missing. And this is your ability to analyze what is critical. You see, I sometimes, even now, I go and attend 9 o'clock meeting in companies. When I am traveling, if I am in a manufacturing location, I attend morning 9 o'clock meeting. And one meeting I attended 3 months back. All greens were there. All greens, yellow, nothing red. So everything looked rosy. But after a few months, company reported red. Because missing data was not discussed. And when I say missing data or missing information, is the almost accident-like cases. You see, many times in companies, you have near fatal accident, but it is not accident, so it is not reported. And near fatal cases must be discussed. One other example, slightly different, and as we are in the context of current air crash, I give this example in many of my workshops. In 1978, going back to 1978, United Airways had crash landing of one of their aircrafts with 189 people on board, something what unfortunately happened 3 days back. But pilot managed to save most of the passengers in the plane except tail end, and about 10-12 passengers died. Then investigation was conducted because what pilot thought that there is a problem in his landing signal, and therefore he focused attention on landing signal, completely ignoring the fact that he is going down on fuel. In 1978, plane structure was such that captain used to sit in a sort of a cabin, isolated, and captain was treated as a boss, highest authority, and second pilot and other cabin crew can only politely tell. So the second captain politely told pilot, "Yeah, fuel come ho raha hai." But pilot said, "I am the boss, I will manage." And he ignored fuel signal, focusing completely on landing. His whole focus was on data related to landing, missing it. After 1978 accident, aircraft industry changed their norms and a new system came in place called crew management system, where authority given to pilots was slightly diluted in the sense that plane's success or plane safety is not just sole responsibility of the captain, but entire crew is responsible. And this is what is very important in companies, because companies in Indian environment, we are still guided by designation, by age, we are still guided, but it is important that people open up. Growth is possible only when people talk to each other. Okay, so this was one exercise. I will just come back to your question. I will show you that slide and you can capture it. But broadly, I keep pressure in financial implementation. First, he was asking what are the 5 pressures. So just to recap those 5 pressures that are very important, because in corporates you will get, in personal life you will get these pressures. First is financial pressure. Second is implementation. When you are implementing things, there is a pressure. One pressure is relationship. Relationship का pressure रहता है, situational and territorial. Territorial, I call people working in silos. I have created T for territorial, so I get abbreviation first, but it is silos commonly known. Okay. This is very favorite topic. आजकल leadership पे, although the title here is leading under pressure, somehow these days I stay away from leadership. I stay because there is so much knowledge coming on WhatsApp कि leadership पे आपको कोई knowledge की जरूरत नहीं है. Leadership, you are bombarded with knowledge. Leadership कैसे improve करना? You open your WhatsApp messages every day. Few messages are there. So when I was writing book, I said I will not use word leadership. It's over. I will not use coaching because nobody wants coaching. So I also do coaching only when someone asks me. I have some retainership with one company. CEO asked me, why are you not coaching? I said, no, I will coach that person only when he asks me. Unwanted advice, and this I have learned from Sunil Gavaskar. Sunil Gavaskar's son Mohan Joshi cricket में अच्छा कर रहा था. He played Ranji Trophy. He played even Test cricket. He was good. And somebody asked him, Sunil Gavaskar, why don't you coach Rohan? He says, जब पूछेगा तभी coach करूँगा. Unsolicited advice आज father son को देंगे, तो भी is not wanted. पूछेगा तो, so it is like that. Now I have one question always on leadership debt. Leadership debt. लीडरशिप इंप्रूव करने के लिए आपको बहुत ज्ञान मिलेगा, बट आई कॉल इट लीडरशिप डेट इज स्मॉल मिस्टेक्स दैट यू कीप ऑन मेकिंग. आप अपने बॉस के देखें कभी मिस्टेक्स? लीडरशिप डेट, डिसीजन डेट. व्हेन आई कॉल डिसीजन डेट, समटाइम्स एट द एंड ऑफ मंथ यू गिव 10% डिस्काउंट टू वन कस्टमर, और आपका क्वार्टर प्रोटेक्ट हो गया, मंथ प्रोटेक्ट हो गया, एवरीबॉडी इज क्लैपिंग, पार्टी भी हो गया, ठीक है, उसको 10%. आफ्टर 3 months दैट कस्टमर एक्सपेक्ट्स 10% डिस्काउंट एज अ नॉर्मल थिंग, एंड आई कॉल इट डेट. तो आपकी डिसीजन, आप डिसीजन लो, आपका तो बिजनेस है, आप बिजनेस में डिसीजन लो, बट ये हमेशा देखो आप कोई डेट क्रिएट कर रहे हो, और जब आप सोचोगे तो आपको लगेगा यार ये गलती हो रहा है मेरे से, ये मेरे पे शायद तकलीफ करेगा. तो आप ये वर्ड कहीं पर भी नहीं है. आई एम इनफैक्ट नाउ पॉपुलराइजिंग एंड पुटिंग पोस्ट कि डेट देखो लाइफ में आप क्रिएट कर रहे हो क्या. आपका फेल्यूर कभी एकदम नहीं होता है. आप slowly debt create कर जाते हो. And very common example I give in companies is blood pressure, sugar level and sleep. आप कभी भी डॉक्टर के पास जाओ तो डॉक्टर के पास तो सारे रिपोर्ट्स रहते हैं, पर कोई रिपोर्ट ये नहीं बताता है कि आपको स्लीप कितनी आती है. वो नहीं दिखाता है कोई रिपोर्ट में. आप वाइफ से झगड़ते हो, वो भी रिपोर्ट में नहीं दिखेगा. कितने भी रिपोर्ट वो नहीं दिखेगा, वो डॉक्टर को ही पूछने का है. सो व्हेन आई टॉक ऑफ लीडरशिप डेट और डिसीजन डेट विद डॉक्टर्स, आई हैड डन वन सेमिनार लास्ट ईयर विद इंडियन मेडिकल एसोसिएशन वेयर वी सेड एक ही पेशेंट को ब्लड प्रेशर रहता है, डायबिटीज रहता है और स्लीप रहती है का प्रॉब्लम. वो पेशेंट ये नहीं बोल सकता है आज मैं सिर्फ शुगर पे कंट्रोल करता हूं, मैं स्वीट नहीं खाऊंगा, कुछ नहीं खाऊंगा, पर मैं शाम को जाके झगड़ूंगा तो ब्लड प्रेशर बढ़ेगा. नाउ ब्लड प्रेशर, शुगर एंड स्लीप, आई हैव जस्ट टेकन 3 थिंग्स व्हिच आर देयर व्हिच यू आर फाइटिंग एवरी डे एवरी आवर. और आप एक में भी थोड़ा डेट क्रिएट करो. आप बोले यार आज मैं शुगर खा लेता हूं, जाने दो, तो आपने शुगर पे तो डेट क्रिएट कर दिया. उस शुगर का डेट आपको और कहीं खींचेगा, वो शायद ब्लड प्रेशर पे खींचेगा या और किसी इस पे खींचेगा. सो डॉक्टर्स, व्हेन आई टॉक एंड देन दे डिस्कस वेरियस, कि डॉक्टर्स को भी पेशेंट से ये समझने की बहुत जरूरी रहती है कि रिपोर्ट्स गिव यू ओनली दिस मच इंफॉर्मेशन, पर वो पेशेंट डेट क्या क्रिएट कर रहा है वो पेशेंट से बात करोगे तभी मालूम पड़ेगा. एंड देयरफॉर डॉक्टर्स नीड टू टॉक टू पेशेंट्स. Without talking, they will not get the signal. Clear? Have you created any debt in the recent past in decision? रोज क्रिएट करते हैं हम लोग, ये मैं आपको हिंट देता हूँ. आपने कहीं क्रिएट की है तो
बिजनेस में तो होता ही है. We have to take some time
Correct.
based on the available free capacity है, and we sometimes go for low margin work.
हाँ.
And then customer makes it a trend.
Customer.
Yeah, you have so
Correct. Correct.
So that's what, sir, you mentioned the earlier example about doctor, right? So
Yeah.
and earlier you mentioned about the judgment part.
Judgment.
So the doctor judgment beyond the reports is what makes him differentiate, right? And get more information.
You see, in this group, there are many engineers, not doctors. But I have learned from doctors very clearly that, you know, even entrance test also, इंजीनियर को सोचने का टाइम मिलता है. इंजीनियर को सोचने, वो बोलेगा यार मैं कल सोच के आपको बताता हूँ, तो टाइम है, ठीक है, कल सोच के बताना, 3 दिन लेने हैं. इंजीनियर को सोचने का टाइम मिलता है. Even topmost engineer gets time unless you are in 24/7 production. Topmost doctor doesn't get time to think. When he is on operation table, he have to take instant decisions. There is a book written by Indian doctor in United States and very popular leadership book. In that he has written, Atul Gawande. Atul Gawande has written that there are 12,000 diseases in your body, 12,000 combinations. And इसीलिए डॉक्टर की memory and speed is very important. Speed is very important. इंजीनियर्स को टाइम मिलता है, ड्राइंग कर सकते हैं, चेक कर सकते हैं. तो ये कई बार यंगस्टर्स पूछते हैं मैं डॉक्टर बनूं या इंजीनियर. ये हमारे वक्त काफी था, आजकल तो बहुत. हमारे वक्त इंजीनियर नहीं या डॉक्टर बन गए, डॉक्टर नहीं तो सीए बन, बस इतना ही था. पेरेंट्स ये नहीं देखते थे यार डॉक्टर के लिए स्किल अलग है, इंजीनियर के लिए स्किल अलग है. ये हमारे को मालूम ही नहीं था, पर आज ये सब चीजें मालूम है. एंड देयरफॉर हर चीज में आप डेट कैसे क्रिएट कर रहे हो, डेट पे ध्यान रखो. लीडरशिप सीखने के लिए बहुत तरीके हैं, बट डेट के लिए ध्यान रखो. ओके, आप लोगों ने बहुत सक्सेसफुल बिजनेसमैन देखे होंगे. व्हाट इज कॉमन इन सक्सेसफुल बिजनेस? क्या उनके स्ट्रेंथ रहती है? सक्सेसफुल बिजनेसमैन
पेशेंस रहता है, एक तो पेशेंस रखना पड़ता है.
पेशेंस,
Adaptability.
adaptability,
Change with time.
change with time, time,
Risk-taking.
judgment,
Risk-taking ability.
risk-taking ability,
And quick decisions. Business will be decision.
quick decisions.
High tolerance or endurance.
High
Tolerance or endurance.
high tolerance. Okay. So there are a lot of things, and therefore, you know, there is no formula. Like you asked me about culture. For success, there is no formula. Of course, आप success पे book लिखो तो बहुत कमा सकते हैं. Success नाम की book बहुत बिकती है. Success डाल दो तो, but success का कोई formula नहीं है. And मैं ये बोलता हूँ आप success के लिए effort लेते जाओ. Leadership पे इस पर लेते जाओ. But आप debt क्या create करते हो आपको ही मालूम है. आप उस डेट पे एक्शन लो. वो किसी को मालूम नहीं है, बाहर से दिखती नहीं है. I will tell you, I went to one solar company in Surat 3 months back, and owner of that company is amongst top 10 richest in Gujarat, running 7,000 crore solar company, 31-32 years age 31-32, and highly successful company, and not related person, but friend from the college, a company called Raison Solar. And I was taking around in the factory, and there were certain rejections, and I found some communication going. And when I had meeting afterwards with the owners, I told them I have observed something in your company, and I gave them this observation which I am not disclosing here. But I said these are not good things for company growing. And then they took corrective actions. But as I was outsiders, my eyes could capture that. For जो लोग वहाँ रोज काम कर रहे हैं, they were missing that. And that's benefit when you have somebody outsider, his eyes, ears are completely neutral, no prejudice behind. So आप success देखते जाओ, वहाँ से जो भी पिकअप करना है, आप पिकअप कर सकते हो. That is one step. Okay. This I will skip for the time being. We will time permit. We will come back. Yesterday I did 1.5 hours workshop. I was on Zoom, so I was relaxed. And the team was working, 35 people, split into 4 groups. They were virtual. I gave them only one question. What have you done for customers in the last 90 days? क्योंकि क्या होता है कंपनीज में लोग स्लाइड्स दिखाते हैं, पिछले साल ये किया, उसके पहले ये किया, अगले साल ये करेंगे, उस करंट पे कोई नहीं रहता है, आज क्या हो रहा है. And when I put pressure, what have you done for your customers in last 90 days, except order chasing and getting payment? आपने कोई नया प्रोडक्ट इंट्रोड्यूस किया है, आपने कोई सीनियर लेवल से कांटेक्ट किया है, आपने कोई कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाने की कोशिश की है, जो आपको आगे आज की तनख्वाह, एक मारवाड़ी ने मुझे अच्छा सिखाया है और वो मैं कोट करता हूं लोगों को, आज की तनख्वाह कल के प्रॉब्लम्स के लिए है. पहले जो हो गया, आपने काम किया, सॉल्व किया, तनख्वाह दे दी, हिसाब चुकता हो गया, हिसाब चुकता हो गया. सो पहले के काम का हिसाब चुकता हो गया. आज जो मैं पैसा दे रहा हूं वो कल के प्रॉब्लम के लिए दे रहा हूं. आज का प्रॉब्लम तो मेरे वर्कर्स सॉल्व करेंगे, मैनेजर तो सॉल्व नहीं करने वाला एयर कंडीशन कैबिन में बैठ के. तो ये 90 डेज का फोकस इसलिए लाया, फिर मैंने उनको 180 डेज किया कि थिंक व्हाट यू हैव डन इन लास्ट 90 डेज, लास्ट 180 days, and that can create a roadmap. One of my persons who read my book, this comes as, I give 10 questions, this is the first question. He says, मैं इसी पे काम कर रहा हूँ. He says, कोई भी मीटिंग होता है तो मैं लास्ट 90 डेज में क्या किया बात पूछता हूँ. इंस्ट्रूमेंट का आदमी हो, मेंटेनेंस का आदमी हो, कि भाई लास्ट 90 डेज में तूने सिर्फ फायर फाइटिंग किया कि कुछ ऐसा किया है जिससे मेरा आगे का फ्यूचर रहेगा. नया कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाया, नया सप्लायर बनाया. So I focus, Manoj, very strongly on last 90 days, 180 days, depending on product. I shifted to 1 year. Okay. Now, I have published these 2 books. Initially, I wanted to do both simultaneously. First thought was 1 book, but ultimately it ended up in 2 books with some gap. And now that part is over. The first book focused on my framework, which I am going to discuss with you. And second part discussed on results and culture. So जो आपने पूछा results and culture, I have tried to capture it. But again, my message is it cannot be given in book form. It's a continuous journey. So customers, results and culture. आपकी जैसे कंपनी है, आप एक बकेट है ये. आपके कस्टमर्स है, आपके रिजल्ट्स है, आपके कल्चर है, और ये तीनों साथ में आपको टेंशन देते जाएंगे. एक भी दिन आपको शांति नहीं रहेगी. आप इन्फोसिस के लिए काम करते हो, किसी एक दिन की शांति नहीं रहेगी. कोई ना कोई कस्टमर तंग करेगा, कोई ना कोई ऑफिस का आदमी तंग करेगा. सो आई टेल लीडर्स, बिजनेसमैन, ओनर्स ऑफ द कंपनी दैट रिजल्ट्स, कस्टमर्स एंड कल्चर, ये टेंशन आपको रोज का कैरी करना है. हाउ यू मैनेज इट इज इन योर हैंड. Okay. Now, when I was writing book, I realized that in FMCG world, lot of things have happened in the recent past. FMCG world, business to business, which many of us do. There are no books, there is no proper literature. So I said, let me focus something. And then whole of last year went, what can I do something different, which will be remembered. Book इस तरीके से लिखी कि आप 4 पेज भी पढ़ो तो आपको कुछ मैसेज मिलेगा. बट आज के तारीख में 4 पेज पढ़ना भी नॉट इजी मेरे को. इट्स नॉट इजी. रीडिंग हैबिट हैज गॉन. But what I did and which really helped, I created a lot of condensed material for my book, extracts, examples, questions, case studies, everything is in public domain. Anybody can access. You don't have to. So I was thinking whether I should promote book or I should promote ideas. So I said I will promote ideas because ideas will be remembered, people can take advantage. So one of the ideas that I'm going to share with you is completely new. It's my intellectual property. What I have done is I have put together a lot of leadership tools which everybody faces on day-to-day basis. Everybody faces on day-to-day basis, and you have challenges. So what I have done, this is simple framework which I have created. Just go through and just give me one or two comments. You got, can you comment on any one?
I think I was saying having the clarity first and having the roadmap ready is the most important thing so that everything else follows.
Yeah.
Having the right thing figured out is one of the most important.
You see, many times in life we take decision based on past data. I call them legacy assumptions. हम एक legacy के साथ चल रहे हैं. But as things are changing so fast that most of your assumptions need change. Whether it is worker agreement, whether it is agreement with employees or anything. So पहले आपको clarity होनी चाहिए कि आप क्या करना चाहते हो. And that itself takes a lot of discussion in the company. Lot of discussion because mistakes happen in the company because three people work in three different directions because three have different goals. उनको उसी चीज की क्लैरिटी डिफरेंट है और कंपनी जज करते हैं तीन लोगों. एक बार दिस स्टोरी इज 20 years old but even last year it was valid. A delegation from South Africa had come to inspect factories in Ahmedabad, Torrent, Intas, Cadilla. So they have a group, and this is 96, so almost 30 years back. And then I was involved with that inspection. I used to work with Torrent at that time. So I had discussions with those inspectors in the dinner. He said, हमारा इंडिया का इंस्पेक्शन अलग रहता है. मैंने कहा इंस्पेक्शन तो इंस्पेक्शन है, फार्मा कंपनीज को ऑडिट करते हो तो इसमें डिफरेंट क्या रहता है. फिर उसने मेरे को बताया कि डिफरेंस क्या रहता है. ही सेज हम यूरोप में जब ऑडिट के लिए जाते हैं, तीन लोग जाते हैं, तीनों के पास डिफरेंट क्वेश्चनियर्स रहते हैं और वो अपने हिसाब से ऑडिट करते रहते हैं. यूरोप में टिपिकली क्या होता है कि यदि आपका डिपार्टमेंट नहीं होगा तो आप बोलोगे ये मेरा डिपार्टमेंट नहीं है, ये समझेगा. तो ऐसे इंडिया में क्या फर्क है? तो बोले इंडिया में जब हम ऑडिट चालू करते हैं पहले दिन कॉमन क्वेश्चनियर के साथ जाते हैं, कॉमन क्वेश्चनियर, और उस कॉमन क्वेश्चनियर को अलग अलग जगह क्वेश्चन के आंसर्स पूछते हैं और यदि आंसर्स में गलती होगी तो हम समझते हैं ये सिस्टम बराबर नहीं है. तो मैंने कहा ठीक है, यहां तक स्टोरी तो तेरी समझ में आ रही है, व्हाट इज डिफरेंट? देन ही टोल्ड मी कि इंडिया में हर आदमी हर सवाल का जवाब देता है. फाइनेंस वाला ये नहीं बोलेगा कि ये प्रोडक्शन का प्रॉब्लम है, आप उससे बात करो, वो भी प्रोडक्शन के ज्ञान दे देगा. सेल्स वाला आपको प्रोडक्शन का पूरा ज्ञान दे देगा. तो ही सेज इंडिया में जब ऑडिट करते हैं हम एक दिन घूमते हैं, क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, आंसर यदि सेम होगा, आंसर यदि सेम होगा तो हम आगे नहीं बढ़ते हैं, आंसर में डिफरेंस होगा तो हमको क्लू मिल जाता है. ओके, सो दिस इज द framework which I have created, and this framework is now in artificial intelligence. If you put 3x3 framework of Mohan Joshi, you will get lot of answer. This framework can be applied everywhere. I know some people are using. How many of you are having artificial intelligence on your mobile phone? ChatGPT. Okay, please open your ChatGPT. आपके पास गूगल होगा, गूगल ओपन करो.
गूगल पिक्सल डालना है.
हाँ हाँ, जो भी आपको मैं बताता हूँ नेक्स्ट एक्सरसाइज. Thanks Manoj for arranging this get together. He has given introduction of his company, but I think we should know much more about his company. He is host, meeting attend करने के बाद. So I have put a question. I am posing myself as a consultant. You can also assume as consultant of this thing. Write in ChatGPT this particular question. Just first question. You are getting a lot of information about Territorial, what he should do in next 18 months, what is his product portfolio. Because this 3x3 framework covers a lot of things. It covers a lot of things. And this is the beauty of writing this book and creating framework. Because with this framework, I am telling people that it is available on Google. This particular slide you can download from Google. You don't have to keep, I am not telling you any new leadership tool because everything is known to you. I have just put it in 3 categories. आपको लाइफ में सक्सेसफुल होना है तो डायग्नोसिस बराबर होना चाहिए. डायग्नोसिस होगा, then you can decide how you can influence others. दोनों चीजें हो गई तो ग्रोथ होगी. Now, Manoj?
Yeah,
So some answers are coming.
I'm surprised.
You are surprised, so answers may not be fully right, but I know persons who are using this framework in second and third category for, customer visits. This works beautifully. For customer visit, once you feed your data, suppose you are visiting, I have taken name of Incure. So I tested with one sales team is using it for Incure. They write, I am visiting Impure, past performances like this. I always take what is permissible you put in ChatGPT or Perplexity or Gemini. My tool framework is to guide you. But it will, so I create framework to guide you. हमारे कुछ सीनियर फ्रेंड्स हिमाचल प्रदेश जाने वाले हैं, तो मैंने आज सुबह डाला कि my senior friends are going to Himachal Pradesh on 10 days tour. What precautions they should take? Use 3x3 framework. So give ये चीजें ध्यान रखो. तो ये फ्रेमवर्क आपको याद नहीं रखने का है. Like it is in my mind, I can, but you don't have to remember this framework. Put question into any AI tool. Just mention 3x3 framework of Mohan Joshi. Put your answer. It will structure your thinking. It may give you correct. It may not necessarily give you correct answer, but it will structure your thinking because आपके सारे problems इस 9 drivers में हैं. आपको business में clarity चाहिए वो है, आपको focus चाहिए वो है, awareness है, intent है, trust है, collaboration है, outcome है, ownership है, agility है. ये 4 में से हर business में 2-3 चीजें रहती है, वो capture कर लेंगे. leave that to framework to capture, or you ask framework. So there is a question for promotions, etc. also. So, yeah. Basil. So this was promise I made. So I hope you have got some takeaway. This framework can definitely help you. Use this framework continuously for your different activities, and people who are using it are already addicted to it. And the more people use it, the more famous framework is. My only request is, initially when you are using this framework, although it comes 3x3 framework, if you put, it comes directly, but put my name so the framework gets associated for a longer duration. 3x3 framework of Mohan Joshi. Put your questions, you will get answers. Normally for customer visits, कल मेरे को किसी ने आज उसके साथ मेरा कॉल है, he says मेरा बॉस के साथ, जर्मन बॉस के साथ करियर डेवलपमेंट प्लानिंग पे डिस्कशन है. What I should, so he called me a day before and he says Saturday evening call. तो मैंने कहा ठीक है यार Saturday evening, पर मैंने बोला ये क्वेश्चन लिख ले और चैट जीपीटी से पहले आंसर ले ले, because that answer will align with my thoughts. So I recommended to him that ask your question, put this 3x3 framework, and you will have. Okay. So thank you very much for your time and attention. We are at 11:30, and just to conclude, your impact in business, your success is not related to ideas only. It is the impact that you will create, and that impact can go step by step through these two books, whatever knowledge I have shared. So please spread the word, and hopefully you get some benefit out of it. Yeah, I am open for any questions or Manoj?